Hello and welcome back. In this video, we will be showing all the stories under our front-end application. Also, we will be adding some views for uploading the story. So without any further ado, if you are not following me or to my Instagram, you are missing it out. Follow me there and let's get started. So here you can see we have created our backend for our entire stories. Now we simply need to fetch it and show it under our application. Alright, so I have my emulator up and running. So now we can get started with it. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to add some API for our stories. So let's do that thing. So I'll be creating here a new API. So I'll say story.api.dart. Right. So it will be our story API. So I'll copy the API stuff and paste it here. And yeah, I'll be naming it to be a story API. And it will be having here a new method for add story. It will not require post DTO. So what I'll do here, I'll be requiring some other things. So here I'll be requiring a user email. Yes, I remember I'll require a user email. And also I'll be required here user assets, that is story assets. So I'll say required a list of string which will be a story assets, right? So I'll say story assets. I guess there was underscore. So let's say story assets, right? So the path will be different one. So the path will be story/add. So I'll say story/add/user email. So I'll say user email, right? So the body will be different as well. So under body, under JSON encode, I'll say only story assets. So I'll say story underscore assets are equal to story assets, right? So this should be our entire method. Yes, I guess, for adding the stories. Yeah, so let's add some fetch story as well. So I'll say fetch story method. It will be fetch stories more precisely. It will be adding a home path of story only. Yeah, this should be it for fetching the stories. It will be for alright, fetching stories. Also, we need to delete the stories. So I'll say let delete story. It will be requiring a story ID. So I'll say a story ID and the path will be for story/delete and slash the story ID. So let's copy it here and paste it here just like this. Yeah, so the name will be delete or a delete story. So also we need to render the single story. So I'll say show story by user, the same name of our backend method. So I'll say show story by user. It will be requiring story/user/the user email. So I'll say slash, that is a string, not dynamic, of a user email. And yeah, it will be requiring a user email. Right, so this should be our entire get method. We also requiring one more method for showing story of not user. So I'll say show story of other people. Right, so it will be requiring same path, I guess, but it will be requiring other thing, but the argument will be same. Right, so this should be our entire backend method. So what I'll do, I'll be creating a new notifier for it. So under notifier, I'll be creating a notifier. All right, of a story dot notifier dot dart. Right, so it will be a new notifier. So I'll say class story notifier, which will be extending a chain notifier. Right, so what I'll do, I'll be adding this under my provider. So I'll say here a new provider. We need to create a new instance. That's why we need to create a new chain notifier provider. So I'll say story notifier. Right, so what I'll do under story notifier, first of all, let's take an instance of a story API. So I'll say story API. For story API is equal to a new instance of story API. Right, so this should be it. Let's copy the same methods. Let's zoom in a little bit. So here I'll be requiring add story method, just like this. Right, under the class, not outside the class. Right, so it should be method for like add story. Now I'll do, I need to fetch the user email, so I can remove the user email argument and I can fetch the user email directly here. So under try catch block, first of all, we need to take the user email. If I go under my post notifier, all right, I guess there should be a method for fetching the user email. All right, so what I'll do, let's go to user notifier, and yeah, so I have got the method of get user data. Right, now this method comes under the premium version of the social. Don't worry about it. I will be explaining to you right now. What I'll do, I'll be requiring this piece of line from now and paste it here. Everything. Also, I'll be requiring here a new context. We'll be requiring a context for the notifier. Right. So here let's have everything. Right. Let's fetch it here and also our provider. Right. So we have got our user email here from our fetch user email method. If I show to my fetch user email method, it is nothing but First of all, we are in the cache. After that, we are decoding the JWT. After that, we are simply parsing the value of JSON decode, and at the end, I am passing my user email. Right? It is a easy email. I have already explained it under the early tutorials. Right? So first of all, what I'll do, I'll say variable response should be equal to under await state for the story API. Alright, it will be requiring a comma. So it will be under await state for story API. Let's say add story. User email will be user email and also the assets. Right. So for now, I'll be simply printing the response. And here I'll be simply printing the error. Right. So this should be a method for story, adding story. I'll be creating one more method for fetching the story. Right. So let's copy the block and paste it here. It will be requiring a fetch story method. Yeah. So I don't require any assets. I only require the context, I guess. Oh, I also don't require the context. So I'll say fetch story. Right. So for now, I'm only printing the response. So here we don't require this thing as well. Yeah. So for now, let's try over these two methods only. Further later, we will be adding different methods according to us. So now what I'll do, let's try to simply press F5 and debug our entire application over to our emulator. After that, first of all, let's try whether we are able to fetch some stories or not. So let's wait for it. Alright, so we have got our boilerplate application up and running. So now let's log in for now. So let me log in with the help of Ramesh. It was some mock user that I have just set up. It was a mock user that I have set up. It has my own name, password, and let's log in. Awesome. So once we are logged in, now you can see what we need to do. We need to add some story block. You can see I got my user email here. If I move here, awesome. So if I type it here, let's try to fetch the user thing. So first of all, what I'll do, let's go to feed of our entire application. So you can see I got my entire feed here. Now on tapping over our home button, it should be somewhere under home. Alright, where is our floating action button? It should be here. Alright, so you can see we have got a floating action button here, which renders my user, that is user image of the user. Right, so what I'll do, first of all, we don't require a feature builder here. So I'll comment this thing off. And first of all, let's try whether our API is working or not. So let's have a new floating action button. And here let's have on tap method, that is on press, my bad. So here first of all, let's take an instance of our story notifier. So I'll say story notifier is equal to provider. From this, let's have the instance of our story notifier, and I'll say listen to be false. Right, so I'll say story notifier dot fetch story for now. Yeah, so let's try to fetch the stories. Now if I type it here, I should be able to fetch some stories. So let's type it here. Alright, so you can see I'm getting my response back. What I'll do, first of all, with the help of our postman, let's try to add some stories under this case. So let's send a request. Alright, the story is added. And if I type it here, I should be able to get all of my stories. Awesome, so everything is working. We are now able to fetch some stories back. So now let's try to add some stories as well. But what we'll do, we'll be getting some views for adding the story. Right, so you can see under my feed block, we have got this entire single child scroll view. Where I can see what I can do, I can add here a new container, which will be some story block of thing. Where under this container, I'll be having a child to be a row for now. Later, we will be having our list view builder for rendering all the stories. So I'll be having some of the children's. Right. So first of all, I'll be requiring here a floating action button for now for adding the stories. So what I'll do, I'll copy this stuff and add it here. Right. So I got a floating action button here. What I'll do, on tapping over it, we should be able to go to the some screen, and on that screen we should be able to add some stories. Right. So now I won't be doing some higher level UI or all that stuff. I'll be doing everything basics. Right. So what I'll do, under views, I'll be getting here a new view known as add story. Right. So under add story, we will be adding the story. So I'll say add story dot view dot start. Right. It should be like a stateless widget. So I'll say add story view. Right. So it will be requiring some children. So let's return a new scaffold. Right. So let's go to app providers, that is app routes. All right. Where are my app routes? Okay, here is that. So I'll say after this add post route, I will be requiring here add story route. So I'll say add story. All right. Add story route. It will be not add post but add story. Let's also link up this thing. So I'll say add story route. we'll be having the add story view, right? So this should be it. So now on tapping over this button, we should be able to go to the next screen. So here instead of fetching the stories, I'll say on tap navigator dot of the context, and here push name to app routes dot add story route, right? So this should be it. So on tapping over it, we should be able to go to next screen. So on tapping over it, nothing is happening for now because we always need to reload our entire application when we are adding a new route. So let's hot restart everything. So yeah, we need to log in one more time. Okay, let's go to our main.dart file. Alright, it should be having some decider thing. I have added some cache. Yes, we have added some cache. So let's hot restart. We should be able to go to our own screen. Yeah. So now I can see we are able to go here. And if I type it here, we are able to add story view. Right. So it will be having some background color, which will be dark, of course, because I love dark theme. So I'll say a constant colors of background color of a BG color, I guess. I'm really very nice with having some color and all that stuff. Right. So here I'll be adding some story thing. It will not a high level UI, but simply a text field and some image selector. So I'll say a new body to our entire scaffold to be a container, a big container. We'll be having a child to be a column. And first of all, let's have some custom text field. Yeah, so I got a custom text field. Under this, I'll say enter. Alright, we also don't require any like thing right for now because we are only adding a image. Right, what I'll do under this, I'll be saying a loaded button under center. So with the help of this button, we'll be able to add that is select our stories. Right, so I'll say add images. Right, so let's make everything under center. So let's say some alignments. Yeah, main axis alignment for center, cross axis alignment for center. Right, so we also need to align the column under center. Right, so on tapping or add image button, we'll be able to add some image. Right, so what I'll do, let's take some help from add post view. So add post view, you can see I got everything here, and here we are uploading some images. So I can go under post notifier. So it should be giving us some method for posting the entire thing. So I'll say post notifier, and under this you can see I have some method for selecting the image. Yeah, this one. So I'll copy this method and I'll go under story notifier and I'll paste it here. Right, so here I'll say meta functions. Right, meta functions means some functions for selecting the image and so and so. So let's import everything what's required. Make sure you are importing .io, not .html. So here we will be requiring different thing. So I'll say pick story assets. Yeah, so for now we are only selecting the image. So I'll do here I'll say string. It will be only a single story for now. It is single image for now. Later we will be adding some multiple images. So here I'll say story asset. Alright, capital A and asset is equal to some default value for now. Also we can make it nullable. So let's make it nullable, and yeah, so here I'll say okay. So I'll say get story asset. Now also I wanted to mention that I don't use high level programming under my YouTube videos because many of us are beginners. So if you think that you can go further, that is you can abstract your code, then please do it. Likewise, we are welcome to do. So here I'll say story asset should be equal to this thing. Alright, we also require a new file for it. So I'll say posting notifier. Let's copy the file thing. I am too lazy to write the code again and again. You should be always like utilizing your existing code. So you can see I can get my file and I can paste it here, and I'll say story asset. So I'll say story asset image, or story asset file, more precise, and here story asset file. Right, so what I'll do, I'll say a story asset file is equal to this thing, and also while removing the assets, I'll say remove the story file. So I'll say remove story assets. Right, so this should be it for now. Now we will be required to paste the following thing under our post view, that is our add story view. Right, so here let's make it here, and here what I'll do, we need to listen to our entire stories. So let's make it stateless for now, that is stateful for now, and are we also requiring the instance of our story notifier. So I'll say story notifier for a story notifier, it will be having a argument of render UI to be equal to that is true or false, and also this thing will be equal to provider. From this, I'll be requiring a context of story notifier, and I'll say listen value to render UI. It will be like transactional. So I'll say story notifier under this case. So I'll say if story notifier to be true, cause me to listen to our UI. If it has a story asset file not equal to null, right? Not semicolon, but not equal to null. At this point, we will be displaying our entire story image. So I'll say under a container, let's have some height of 400 for now. It will be having a child to be image dot file, and the file will be nothing but a story notifier. So I'll say story notifier value to be true, and here I'll say story asset file, which will not be equal to null, and I'll do this thing, right? So now let's try to add some images. So on pressing over it, we need to pick the story. So I'll say listen to false, and I'll say pick story assets, right? So if I type over here, all right, we are opening our native thing, and I can select this story for now, and now you can see we are able to see our story here, right? So what I'll do, I'll remove the size of container, and it will be filled up, right? So this should be it for now for adding the image, right? So now we also need to manipulate our entire thing. So what I'll do, this is kind of big one. So here we need to add some transactional things as well. So here I'll say if story asset file is equal to null, at that point show us the image of add images, else show us the different images, right? So what I'll do, I'll copy this method one more time, and yeah, so let's get out of it, adding a comma. So what I'll do, I'll be copying the evaluate button, and I'll create a new row. Under row, I will be having two different buttons, right? So the first button will be nothing but for reselecting the story images. So I'll say reselect images, and after that I will be having one more button for remove the image, right? Now here under remove thing, I will be simply saying remove story assets. It will be removing all the images. So I'll say main axis alignment under passive only, right? So if I say remove image, it will be removing all the image, and if I say add image, it will be getting the image, and if I say reselect image, we can go here and reselect our images. So this should be it for now. Now what we need to do, we need to add a button for upload the story as well, right? So I can copy this method one more time. Yeah, so let's copy that, and I'll adding here a new. All right, let's come out of the row first, right? Main axis alignment for spacing only, and yeah, so let's come out of the row, add it here, and I'll say one more button for upload the story, right? So I'll say upload story, right? So it will be this for now, and I'll convert this column under a, yes, you guess it right, single child scroll view, right? So you can see I got a button for upload the story as well. So now we can upload the story, that is add story. What I'll do under this case, yeah, so we are only printing the response, right? So let's go to here, and after tapping over it, we will be uploading the images. So I'll say dot add, all right, add story, I guess, yeah. So the story asset will be a list of assets, and for now we have only a single asset, so we need to also upload the image as well, right? So we need to do that thing. So here on tapping over it, we'll be uploading the assets, right? But before executing this process, we also need to upload the image. So if I go under posting notifier, post notifier, I got a method for uploading the image, right, for a Cloudinary. So I can copy this method. Yes, I am cheating a lot because I have already written that code, right? So it is better for us to use the same code again and again, only if you understand that, right? So let's make it here. Let's fetch our Cloudinary credentials, and yeah, so uploaded image URL will be nothing but our story image, that is story asset, right? Right, not this thing, but a story asset file, right? So once this thing is done, we also need to assign the URL here, right? So I'll say URL to be URL to be URL, right? So what I'll do, this thing will be equal to this thing, this, and also I got a custom snack bar, yeah. So what is happening here? First of all, we are creating a new instance of a Cloudinary, providing the credentials. After that, we are uploading the file. The file path is nothing but our story asset path. The resource type is image. The folder is the social. Then I will be getting some value. From that value, I am fetching the URL and assigning that URL to be my local variable, which is story asset URL. And after that, I am simply asserting that this thing is not equal to null, I'll simply print the particular story asset URL, and here I'll say story image uploaded, right? So this was the complete explanation, I guess. What I'll do, we can copy it, you can use this method here. What I'll do here, before uploading the images, we can use some stuff. So I'll say story notifier to be false dot upload user image. Alright, it is not a user image, but it should be upload story image, right? So it will be more precise. So it will be upload story images dot when complete. When this method will be completed, what we can assert that the following story URL should not be equal to null. So I'll say if this thing should be equal to true, and also dot story asset URL. If this thing is not equal to null, we will be uploading the story, right? So here I'll say upload the story, right? Let's remove the comments. Upload the story, and the asset will be nothing but our story URL, right? So here I'll say story URL, and it will be listening to false, or we need to listen to values. So I'll say dot story asset URL, right? It should not be equal to null, so we are adding this condition here. And I can also do this thing here. So this should be it for now. So let's try it out. On pressing go, it will be asynchronous method. So first of all, let's await for that method, and also await for, alright, await for, alright, why it is not awaiting? Alright, so you should be adding async max here. Right, so this should be our entire method for uploading the stories. So let's try it out. So let's open our terminal, and now let's remove the image. Let's select it one more time. Let's select this image. Let's try to upload image. Let's wait for it. So you can see we are getting our thing here of story image uploaded, and also we are getting our 201 code of added to be true, right? So now if I go back, and if I try to print this thing, you can see we are getting our entire story image, right? So first of all, you can see we have added a story ID to be some random story ID. After that, you can see of ID1 we have added a particular URL, right? So this thing is working. Also, we are getting a story data here, right? So now what we need to do, we need to delete some story as well. So what I'll do, first of all, let's delete the mock story. So I'll say delete one of one story. Okay, I guess the ID is different. So first of all, let's fetch the stories. So you can see we are fetching the stories. So first of all, you can see, alright, I guess we have added a story from twice a times. So we need to stop that thing happening. So I'll do under story notifier. Okay. What I'll do, first of all, let's try to delete a single story. So let's say story of delete for second one. Awesome, story deleted. And if I try to print it out, awesome, so only a single story is rendered here. So now let's try to show the story under our entire application, right? So now what I'll do, we'll be creating some UI. For like fetching the stories, right? So here while we are this thing, I'll say preview story, right? You can give it any sort of method name. So under preview story method, we will be simply previewing the story. So I'll say preview story dot view dot dart, right? So it will be one more stateful widget for now. So I'll say preview story view. Yeah. So it will be a scaffold for now. So what I'll do here, let's go to our app routes, not app.ts, but app routes. I'll be creating a new route here of preview story route. So I'll say preview story route, and I'll say here preview story, right? So let's copy this, paste it here, and I'll say preview story thing, and also preview, right? So much preview. So I'll say preview story view. Yeah, finally. So this should be it. So let's try to hot restart everything for now, and we'll be uploading, that is, we'll be fetching the stories here. Awesome. So now what I'll do, while we are adding the story under field view, if I go here, you can see I got this thing here for at the bottom, at the top, somewhere here for a container. So what I'll do, I'll remove this thing for now, and I need to create some different UI for previewing the stories, right? So what I'll do, under preview story view, under scaffold, It should not be written any scaffold, but simply a big container. And under this container, will be storing like showing everything. Right. So what I'll do, I'll copy this thing here. Alright, we should be requiring some scaffold here, and we also need to render a story list. Right. So what I'll do, I'll be getting here a new view known as story list. Right. It will be containing a list of all the stories. Right. So here I'll say story list dot view dot dart. Right. We don't require any upload for it because it is a small view. So I'll say story list view. Right. As the name suggests, it should be a list of all the stories. So I'll be requiring here a container, not a comparable, but a container. Right. So what I'll do, I'll import this thing under my feed view. So here at the top, I can say show the story list view. So let's say story list view. Right. So if I say here, under my, first of all, we need to show the stories. So I'll say here some color for now. So I'll say constant colors, let's say blue color having some height of, let's say 100. So you can see I'll be having this block to be for all the stories. Right. So what I'll do, here I'll be adding a new column to be a row. That is my new child to be a row. So under this child will be required to show the user stories. So first of all, we need to show the single user story. That is the user of a particular, that is the user stories of a single user. Right. So what I'll do under this, I'll be requiring here a new future builder. So what I'll do, this thing will be a stateful for now, because we need to manipulate our state. And here it will be having a story notifier. What I'll do, while we are adding some stories, I guess we have added the, okay, so let's say add story view. I guess we have added a notifier. Yeah. So let's copy that and paste it here. Let's import everything. Awesome. So what I'll do, first of all, the future will be for the stories of the single user. Right. So what I'll do here, first of all, we need to render the entire the image of the user. Right. So what I'll do, let's go to our feed view. I guess there is a image method for it I have built. So yeah, this is the future builder. What I'll do here, under this future builder, I'll remove this stuff off, and I'll say this thing will be this. And yeah, so let's have everything here. So let's import everything. We also need to show the user thing. That is the user image. Yeah, image. What I'll do, let's copy the method and I'll say user notifier. Now, if you want a premium version of the social, you can kindly DM me on Instagram. Now, it will be a paid code because the code is kind of big one and there are many features. So, if you want that, you can DM me anytime. Right. So, for now, let's press Ctrl and S. And now you can see I will be getting this image here. Right. Because under this method, first of all, I am getting the user data. If I go here, as I've explained, first of all, for getting the user data, first of all, I am getting the user email. And after that, from API method that we have built, I am getting the user data. Right. What I'll do, while we are getting the user data, let's go at top and let's remove the blue color, and I'll say the height will be 80, I guess, some small. Alright, height should be 60 because the entire view is kind of small for now. So on tapping over this button, we should be able to render the stories of a single user. Right. So this should be it for now. Now there are more modifications that are coming. So I'll say story list view. So on tapping over it, we should be able to preview the story of a single user, of the user who is logged in. Right. So I'll say let's go under preview story method, preview story view. Right. So here I'll be renaming it under preview my story view. Right. Yeah, preview my story. Only a single user story for now. So this should be our method for preview my story. And for previewing my story, we should be able to like preview the story of the single user. So here under this thing, I will be requiring a body, not a background color, but a body. The body will be nothing but a big container, and the container will be have a child to be a future builder. Right, it will be requiring a future and also some builder. Right, so what I'll do, first of all, we will be requiring a story notifier. So let's have a story notifier that we have copied, and let's import everything. Yeah, so let's also convert this under a stateful widget. So under future, the future will be nothing but a story notifier for a false for fetch story users. That is a story by the user. Alright, so as I mentioned, we need to go under our story notifier, and we need to add some methods for fetching the user stories. Right, so what I'll do, if I say here fetch story API dot, you can see I got a method of show story by user. Right, so I can copy the same method name, and here it will be requiring the user email. Right, for user email we can copy this user email, but it will be saying show story by user of the logged user. Right, so it will be requiring a build context for a build context. Now I recommend you watch this tutorial twice a times if you don't understand anything. Right, so you can see I will be printing the response for now, and what I can do, if I try to print the response, we need to create a new model for it for now. What I'll do, under preview story view, let's remove the container from for now, and let's create a new model. Right, what I'll do, let's go under our feed view. All right, not this thing but feed view, and yeah, so here I'll be simply fetching the, all right, show story by user. Right, so here let's try to fetch the, that is print the entire stories. So what I'll do, let's clear everything, print it here. All right, so I need to create a new model for it. So let's create a new model for it. All right, so let's get the this thing, and yeah, so let's print it everything here. Right, so this should be our entire story of let's say story itself. Right, the model for under story. Let's copy this thing, and yeah, so let's get a new model for it. That is, I've already got some models. Right, you can see I've got a bunch of model. What I'll do, I already have a model for the story. Alright, so I'll be creating a new story because this code is for the premium version of the social, and if you want that, you can DM me on my, yes, you guessed it right, Instagram. Right, so let's remove this thing, and yeah, I know there is some extension for VS Code, but for now let's move it this thing. So let's remove this, and yeah, this. Alright, so we have got our model up and ready. So we also need to remove the column. What I'll do, under the case of datum, it will be not datum but a story data. Right, so story user, story data, and etc. Now we need to transfer the entire model. What I'll do, while we are let's go under the notifier, and here we are simply printing a response. So instead of response, what I'll do, I'll manipulate my entire data and convert it under my model. Right, so we need to use the instance. So I'll say story data. That will be a list of story data, I guess. A list of story data for a story. All right, story data will be equal to under the case of story from JSON. Yeah. So for that purpose, we don't require story data. Yeah. So the under JSON, I'll say JSON decode, and the decode will be from the entire response. Right. So what I'll do, if I say here print story data for now, let's try to print it out first. Let's try to print our data. If I print it out, you can see I'll be getting an instance of story. Right. So if I say story data dot let's say data, I will be getting a list of all the instances. You can see I'll be getting a list of a story instance. Right. What I'll do here, I'll be getting a list of story data. So I'll say list of story data for, alright, so I'll call this to be model data, and this thing to be story data. It will be equal to model data dot data. Right. And also I'll be requiring, like, I will be getting some code, I guess. So I'll say this code will be equal to model data dot code. right? So I'll say if code is equal to 200, and I'll say return story data. Yeah, so this should be it for now. So let's try to build it out. So I'll say preview story image, and under this I will be requiring now right. So let's uncomment this, and it will be for show story by user, right? It will be requiring a context and a snapshot, right? So I can copy some stuff from my home view, I guess, or feed view, while we are doing this stuff, that is right, waiting for the connection state. What I'll do, if snapshot has some data, we will convert the snapshot data under a list, which will be story data, right? So it will be nothing but a, yes, you get it right, story data should be equal to snapshot dot data as a list of story data, right? So here, what we can do, we can return here a new list view builder for now, or it will be a list of all the stories, right? So I'll say list view builder. It will be requiring atom count to be story data dot length. It will be also require some context and index, not a snapshot, but an index. And I'll return here a big container, right? So I'll say return a big container. But what we can do, instead of returning our entire data here, we can get a new widget. We can name it preview story block, right? It will be a particular block. So I'll say preview story block, right? So this thing should be it for now. And under story block, we'll be requiring some data of the story. So I'll say here final, alright, final story data for a story data. It will be a constant preview story block. It will be required this dot story data, right? So we can assign this thing to be here under list builder. Under this, I'll say story data for story data under a index, a particular index, right? So now we need to render our entire preview story block, right? So what we will do here, under preview story block, we'll be requiring here a child, which will be a column for now, and under column we'll be requiring all the different data of the user as well. What I'll do, first of all, I'll say a new row. Under new row, what I'll do, I'll be creating, that is, we'll be rendering the circle avatar to show the user image. Also, let's have some spacing from left. Yeah. So under user image, under user data, what I'll do here, let's have the background image to be a network image. So under network image, I'll say story data dot story user dot user image, right? Also, we'll be requiring some radius, and let's have radius of 25. After this, I'll be requiring spacing. So I'll say horizontal size box, custom dimensions, and I'll say here some user data, right? So I'll say a column. Under column, we'll be requiring some text, right? Under text, I'll be showing the username. So I'll say story data dot story user dot user name, right? For now, let's have only this thing without any styling. It will be requiring the time for the story. What I'll do, I'll import a time ago library that we have used under our previous tutorials. So I'll say time ago for time ago. Right, now you can go under your postpay.yaml file, and you need to get a dependency of time ago. Where it is, man, let me find it out. Okay, so you should get a dependency of time ago, right? And once you have got it, you should be importing it as a time ago. What I'll do, under this case, instead of this thing, I'll say time ago dot format. Under format, I'll say story data dot story time. So it will be formatting my entire story under a cool way, right? So let's check it out for now. And yeah, so this should be it for now. Now we need to show the story image. So let's come out of our big row, and here I'll be adding a new container. Under container, I will be having some height, let's say 600 for now, not 1000 but 600. It will be having a child to be image dot network, right? So under network, I'll say story data dot story assets of a 0th index, which is the list of all the stories, right? So let's have some fit to it. So let's say box fit, I guess, yeah, box fit dot fit width for now. So let's check it out for now. What I'll do, we need to navigate user to the preview my story view. So I'll go under my list of stories, not a list of story list. And yeah, on tapping over this button, we should be able to go to the next screen of show the story. So I'll say navigator, dot of the context, here push name to app routes dot preview story route. So what is happening here? Okay, push named, my bad. Push named. Right, so this should be it. So let's tap over here. Alright, so let's hot start everything. So let's tap over here. Alright, so now you can see I am able to get my data and also my story. Right, I am able to get the user email, that is image, his name, the time ago, which is 19 minutes ago, and also the story. Right, now you can manipulate it according to your choice. That is, if I say the height should be 700, or you can also use media query, and also you can change the background color. So I'll say color to be constant color dot background color. Yeah, you can do any sort of thing according to your choice, right? Now I have shown you how the basics of story will be working, and this tutorial has gone quite long. So in next tutorial we will be adding some time, like time limit thing, so it will be auto navigating backwards, right? So if you have loved this tutorial, hit that like button. Goodbye.